Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing and want to see more. So today's video, guys, is all about the State of Origin Games 1. It's been held in Townsville, the first time that it's been held out of its usual homes for so many years. I think it's the first time ever that it's been held outside of places like the MCG and Suncorp Stadium. It was so well watched, well vended, well purchased, the tickets, that they had to build more seats. I think an extra 2,000 roughly was put on. But hey, it's the State of Origin, one of the biggest games on the planet. So let's delve in. Here comes my report. So the first half began with Queensland kicking to the Blues to start the game, and there was nothing between the two sides. It was an arm wrestling midfield between the two 40-metre lines for the first few sets, but then the Blues kicked it up a gear, and Dane Cook broke the line, but unfortunately there was a knock-on which gave the ball back to Queensland. On the last tackle play, Munster ducked past his in the 5th minute. Munster ducked past his man to pass to Fafita, who kicks the grubber kick straight into Tedesco's hands. It was the only real chance for the first half. Well, not really. In the first 10 minutes, that actually gave anyone any field position or anything like that. But on the 8th minute, Nathan Cleary got the ball inside the 20, or the Queensland 20, and he kicked across the field into in between the goalpost and the 20-metre scrum line. And Tom Trbojevic went up to catch it and was shepherded, so it caused a penalty to Blues, which Cleary decided to take 2 and kicked over and took the conversion. It's 2-0 to North Queensland. On the 12th minute, Welch for Queensland, Christian Welch, probably the best forward in the game in NRL this season, went in for a tackle, but an accidental head clash caused the HIA to be called. Welch would not be returning for the rest of the game, as he failed that HIA assessment. So on the 13th minute, the Maroons were caught for offside, a penalty because of being offside was given, and then the 6 again was called, but Munster did not hear the call and kicked the ball into the corner, which Coates batted back for the Blues to recover. Mitchell then made the game break that changed the game, as he broke over the halfway line, and on the 40 he was tackled by Xavier Coates to give the Blues more and more momentum. It stayed inside the white lines, so they could carry on. From that resulting play, the Blues kicked to the corner on the right hand side for Addo-Carr, who was shepherded out of play on a foul, which the referee gave a penalty for the Blues for. This led to a try for Tom Trbojevic. Blues opening the scoring. The Blues threw the balls wide to Tedesco on the right hand side of the posts, who was up against the forward, who drew the forward in, and he made the gap for Trbojevic to go over 10 metres from the touchline. Cleary added the 2 on that front. By this time, Nathan Cleary has had a cut underneath his right eye, so they were keeping an eye on that. Another 6 again was called on the 20th minute by the Maroons. That's the second of the game, but it didn't lead to anything. A couple of minutes later, Dane Cook breaks one dummy half into the opposition 20, where he passed to the left for Tedesco. It was actually knocked down by the Maroons player, with Tedesco recovering. A few passes later, Brian Tarto scored in the left-hand corner for his debut. Latrell Mitchell took over the kicking as the cut for Cleary was being sorted out for the first time, and he put it straight over the posts. In the lead up to this try, Fatuiaka was put on report for a late tackle on Latrell Mitchell. The first repeat set for the Blues, due to the Maroons' knockdown, was made in the 26th minute, which led to, on the 27th minute, for To'o to score his second try of the game in the left-hand corner. On the last, the Blues ran it in, and after a 15-minute last-second cut-out patch by Sims, To'o was back in again in that left-hand corner. I just need to note at this point, Trbojevic would have been everywhere during this game. He kept popping up into all the plays and running the ball, taking tackles. They were saying that he took 10 hit-up runs by this point. Looks like Mitchell was the kicker again, but the kick was taken to put New South Wales 20 points to 0 in the lead. On the 30th minute, a 4-6 again was called for the Maroons, with the ball lost by Kafusi on the wide left inside the Blues 20, unfortunately. During the lead up to this play, there was a tackle that caused friendly fire for Fafita again. For Fafita this time, who went off for a HIA. And Cleary was still bleeding and getting sorted out for that cut underneath his right. Yes, his right eye. That was right first time. Right, not that one. That one. Anyway. So we carry on to the 33rd minute as a ball steal was adjudged by the Blues, which gave the Maroons the penalty on the Blues 20 or 40. The ball goes out to the left of Munster, and Munster made a standard pass to Capewell, who stood up Trbojevic and went round him to score 5 metres in from the left-hand touchline for the Queensland team. Valentine Holmes added the 2 to make it 6 points to 20, and that's where the scores ended when it came to half time. When we were coming up to half time. On the 36th minute, the ref did tell Nathan Cleary to go off because the cuts had been sorted out more than twice now, and it was still bleeding profusely. This was just before the kickoff after the Maroons try, and the Maroons got the penalty on the halfway line as the kickoff by Blues was caught by a Queensland player straddling the line. So it's classed as the kick has gone out on the full, so a penalty goes to them. Try to gain an advantage. The ball must land in field before the ball goes out into touch in rugby league. Anyway, Queensland go down the field into the opposition 20, and the ref calls for the 5th 6 again for Queensland. Maroons only got one on the 38th minute, but we'll come to that in a few moments, as Munster got the ball in the 10 of Queensland, of the Blues, kicked it into the New South Wales in goal area, where To'o was there to mop up, but was unfortunately tackled in the in-goal area for the dropout to be made by New South Wales. Some good distance was made by the tackle, or by the kick, but it's unfortunately for the Maroons caused a one-on-one tackle between Holmes and Latrell Mitchell, which caused Holmes to lose the ball. So the ball ended up in the Blues' hands as they're going into half time. and half-time whistle and hooter went. But the two Camerons, Cameron Munster and Cameron Murray, decided to have a push and shove match, which got everyone excited and involved, which led to nothing, no reports or anything like that, and everyone went in for half-time. So there's half-time score again, 6 points to 20 to the New South Wales team. So the second half was another try-fest again for New South Wales. We start, first of all, that Fifita was back from his HIA and he dumped one of the Blues tacklers, would-be tacklers, on his back with a bumper challenge with a solid run in the first minute of the half for the Queensland side. Munster kicked on the last, out on the... but it went out on the Blues 20, which ended a poor set of 6, which was another, well, as the game went on for the Queensland side, ended up being what the effort was going to be like from the Queensland side and the quality that came to it. Nathan Cleary came back on the 42nd minute from his something out of the cut underneath his right eye, and but Blues started doing uncharacteristic mistakes as Haas tries to force an offload on the 44th minute while in a 3-man tackle, which goes to ground. Dencut tried to pick it up, but he knocked on, unfortunately. Then there was a bomb by the Queensland side, which was followed up by Ufalasawa, but he interfered with Tedesco, which caused another push and shove battle with Luai getting involved with the Marines players, and the ref instantly put him on notice, saying, don't get involved, I'm watching you." But that wasn't the last of the pushing, because a minute later Mitchell and Sewer got involved with each other. Don't forget, they're both South players. They just kept pushing each other, nothing more than that. But it was part and parcel of the game. From the ensuing set, Mitchell goes over for the first try of the half. The Haas, Cleary and Luai controlled the centre of the Blues play, passing wide to Tom Trbojevic, who puts the ball on his left foot for Mitchell to dot down 5 metres out from the left hand side. Cleary was calm all night and he slotted over another one from wide out, making the score 6 points to 26. On the lead up to the try though, Blues player was chasing a kick to the right hand side, which Josh Addo gathered up, but he put a high shot on Cameron Munster, which meant that the Blues player was put on report. I can't remember who it was, unfortunately, but you'll probably hear more of that later. So on the 53rd minute, Blues go through the hands to the right with plenty of offloads and inside balls, but when it comes to Tom Trbojevic inside the 20 of the Queensland side, the ball is passed behind Josh Addo-Carr. It goes to the floor and trickles out of touch. Brimson had a high shot put on him in the 56th minute by Addo-Carr, which only resulted in a penalty. It was a bit more as normal rugby league when it came to the officiating, is what before the crackdown came in. Then on the 58th minute, Tom Trbojevic scored his second try of the game. Jerome Luai breaks the line with support of Latrell Mitchell, who's on hand to pass to Trbojevic, who went in to score under the sticks. Easiest kick so far by Cleary to make it 32 points to 6 to New South Wales over Queensland. couple of minutes later, Latrell Mitchell's time to go over the line again. But the referee was looking for offside by Payne Haas, who was called to be within the 10. He was within the 10, but the try was given as a high bomb from Coates. A high bomb came in for Coates to field, and he knocked it backwards over his head while in the air, which Latrell Mitchell gobbles up and scores wide on the left. Cleary kicks it again to make it 38 points to 6. The video referee, even though Haas was within the 10, said that he wasn't in the eye line of Coates and did not interfere. You see him putting on the tackle on the player when he's on the floor, but that's for the referees to determine. They're the referees. And on the 63rd minute, the Blues were back on the offensive again, as a high kick in the 20 was fumbled again by the Maroons, down on their own, well, inside their own 10, which they put through the hands. The ball came back inside from Addo-Carr. A couple of tackles later, penalty was given as the Maroons were offside. Daniel Safiti scored under the sticks as a result of that penalty, which Cleary was gleeful to add another 2 from underneath the sticks. It was getting away from Queensland now, with 60 just gone past the hour, and it's 44 points to 6 to New South Wales. It was one-sided, obviously. Then Cleary decided to up his running game. As players were getting tired, he keeps seeing gaps. His first run of the game was a great run, and a flick out of the right, out from the back of him to the right to Tedesco. A couple of tackles later, though, unfortunately, Blues were forced out of touch, so there was no tackle made. So no further tries on that point. But we didn't have to wait long, as Tommy Turbo scored on the next set for the Blues. But leading up to that, Queensland actually got a one-on-one situation with Xavier Coates versus the Brian Toto for the high kick to be caught. But unfortunately, Coates batted it out of play. Blues then go 70 metres as Cleary picks up the ball from dummy half, made a dummy to his right, and went through the gap into the Queensland half, where he passed it to Tedesco, who inside flicks it back into the field of play for Tedesco to score his hat-trick. That's 48 points to 6 with the kick to come, which Cleary gleefully adds again. So this is where Queensland, we're coming into the 70th minute, Queensland decided to kick shot, which they recovered. Well, Cleary came back with a one-on-one strip a few tackles later, which put pay to that attack. It was short-lived though, because everything from the 70th minute was Queensland in the New South Wales half even. Gagai was the one to start that implement because he did a one-on-one strip that time. The resulting sets had 2 attempts of a kick into the in-goal area. First one was not played at and was gathered up by Caitland, who tried his own kick into the in-goal area, which dribbled out to the back of the field for a 20-metre tap for the New South Wales team. In the next set that Queensland have in the New South Wales half, a 6 again was called, and led to the best attacking play since the Queensland try. There was a for Queensland, sorry. Daly Cherry Evans got the ball, kicked kick to Coates, who actually caught it this time, but he was being forced out of touch, so he passed it to Den Gagai, and you're thinking, Gagai's in here. No. Some great scramble defence at the end of the play determined that Queensland were not getting over in that second half. No way. No way. Gagai knocked it on as it was on the 4th, so New South Wales got the ball. And there was nothing left. in that to call, as there was no further action down in the New South Wales half. So thinking about it, 3 tries from Trbojevic, 2 from Brian Toto, Tommy Trbojevic for the hat-trick, Latrell Mitchell for 2, and Daniel Safite with a try for himself, and 100% kicking from Nathan Cleary, including a penalty and all the conversions. On the flip side, Capeland went over for Queensland in the first game played outside of the usual townships for an Origin game in Townsville, and also the kick by Valentine Holmes completed the scoring for the entire match. So the final score was Queensland 6, New South Wales 50. And that's it for another video, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also share this video worldwide so that we can get the recognition that Rugby League deserves. Anyway, I'll say all the best, and I'll catch you in the next video.